ஓம் ஓம் ஸ்ரீ குருப்யோ நமः. ஹரிஹி ஓம். ஆகமார்த்தந்து தேவானாம் கமனார்த்தந்து ராட்சசம் குரும் கண்டாரவம் கரோம் தத்ர தேவதா வானலாஞ்சனம் ஆச்சார்யாः குரும் பிரார்த்திய குருர் பிரம்மா குருர் விஷ்ணு குருதேவோ மகேஸ்வரः குருः சாட்சாத் பரம் பிரம்ம தஸ்மை ஸ்ரீ குரவே நமः. ஓம் கணானாம் த்வா கணபதிகும் அவாமஹே கவிங் கவீனாமுபமஸ்ரவஸ்தமம் ஜேஷ்டராஜம் பிரம்மணாம் பிரம்மணஸ்பத ஆனஸ்ரண்வன்னோதிபிः சேதசாதனம். ஓம் ஸ்ரீ மகாவல்லப கணபதயே நமः. சப்ரதசபாம் மே கோபாய ஏஜசப்யா சபாசதः தானிந்திரியாவதக் குரு சர்வமாயுருபாசதா அகீபுத்னியமந்திரம் மே கோபாய யமிருஷயஸ்திரைவிதா விதுः ருஜः சாமானி யஜூகும்ஷி சாஹி ஸ்ரீரமிருதா சதா. ध्रुवन्दे राजा वरुणो ध्रुवं देवो बृहस्पतिः ध्रुवन्द इन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च राष्ट्रं धारयतां ध्रुवो आजम्य पवित्रमादाय शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. ॐ भूः ममोपाक्त यस्य जरदवक्त्रार्त्या पारिशक्त्या परशतं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्षेणं तमाश्रये. ममोभाक्त समस्तदुर्दक्षेद्वार श्री नारायण प्रीत्यर्थम्. ओं तदेव लग्नं सुदिनं तदेव ताराफलं चन्द्रफलं तदेव विद्याफलं देवफलं तदेव गौरीपदेः अङ्ग्रीगं स्मरामिद्य करिष्यमाणस्य लक्ष्मीपदेः अपौपस्पृश्य कलशस्य मुखे विष्णुः कंडे रुद्रसमाश्रिताः मूले तत्र स्थितो ब्रह्मा मध्ये मातृगणा स्मृताः गंगे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदा सिन्धु कावेरी जलेऽस्मिन् सन्निधिं गुरु. ओं सप्तनदिभ्यो नमः. तज्जलेन पूजाद्रव्याणि च सम्प्रोक्ष्य गुम्बं बिम्बं प्रोक्ष्य आत्मानं च प्रोक्ष्य श्रीमहावल्लभगणपते नमः सहित श्री विश्वक्षेणाय नमः प्रार्थनां करिष्ये. गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं ववामहे कविं कवीनां वस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पद आनशृण्वन् ऊदिभिः सीदशादनम्. ॐ महावल्लभगणपतये नमः. एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो धुन्दी प्रचोदयात्. तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वेत्रहस्ताय धीमहि तन्नश्चान्दप्रचोदयात्. अस्मिन् बिम्बे ओं भूर्भुवस्वः महागणपतिं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि. महागणपते नमः. आसनं समर्पयामि अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि आचमनीयं समर्पयामि स्नानं समर्पयामि वस्त्रार्थमक्षतान् समर्पयामि उपवीतार्थमक्षतान् समर्पयामि. सपरिवारसहित विश्वक्षेण महावल्लभगणपतये नमः. गन्धां धारयामि गन्धशोभन हरिद्रा कुङ्कुमं समर्पयामि पुष्पैः पूजयामि. ओ महावल्लभगणपतये नमः. महावल्लभगणपत्यासनाय नमः. ओ महावल्लभ गणपतिमूर्तये नमः. ओ महावल्लभगणपतये नमः. ओ विश्वक्षेणाय नमः. ओं श्रीमते नमः. ओ सूत्रपदीनाथाय नमः. ओ वेत्रबाणये नमः. ओं प्रभाकर समप्रभाय नमः. ओ विश्वरक्षवराय नमः. ओ ऋषिकेशाय नमः. ओ हरिवक्त्राय नमः. ओ सूत्रपदी समेत विश्वक्षेणाय नमः. नानाविध परिमलपत्र पुष्पार्चनं समर्पयामि धूपम् आग्रापयामि. ओं धूर्षिधूर्वधूर्वन्तं धूर्वधं जोऽस्मान् धूर्वदितं धूर्भजं भजं धूर्वामः धूपमाग्रापयामि. उद्दीप्यस्वजातवेदो भग्नं नरहृदिं मम पशुकिस्तमख्यमावह जीवनं च दिशो दिशा दीपं दर्शयामि. भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् देवसवितः प्रसुवः. सत्यं दुत्तेन परिषिञ्चामि. विश्वक्षेणाय नमः. महावल्लभगणपते नमः. विशेषफलं नारङ्गफलं निवेदयामि. ओम एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो धुन्दी प्रचोदयात् तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वेत्रहस्ताय धीमहि तन्नः शान्त प्रचोदयात्। आचार्याः पुनः प्राणानायम्य हरिः ओम तत्सद्। श्री गोविंद गोविंद गोविंद। अद्य श्री भगवतः ऐन्द्रगण्डे रमणकवर्षे ग्रौञ्चद्वीपे समस्त हरिहर ब्राह्मण गुरुसन्निधौ सगाब्देऽस्मिन् वर्धमानकाले व्यवहारिके प्रभवादि संवत्सराणां मध्ये महावल्लभगणपतिसन्निधौ ओम विश्वासनाम संवत्सरे उत्तरायणे वसंत ऋतौ मेषमासे शुक्लपक्ष पौर्णमास्यां तिथौ वासरः वासरस्तु भानुवार संयुक्तायां स्वादी नक्षत्रयुक्तायां शुभ नक्षत्र शुभयोग शुभकरण एवं गुणविशेषेण विशिष्टायाम् अस्यां शुभतिथौ श्री भगवत्ताज्ञया भगवत्कैङ्कर्य रूपं भगवत् भागवताचार्याणां दिव्यसन्निधौ विराजमानस्य अस्य देवदेवोत्तमस्य देवता सार्वभौमस्य अखिलाण्डकोटि ब्रह्माण्डनायकस्य परात्पर वासुदेवस्य आश्रित जनपरिपालकस्य अपार कारुण्य सौसल्य वात्सल्य ऐश्वर्य सौन्दर्य महोदतेः जगत्कुडिमिनः जगत्रक्षणार्थम् अवतीर्णस्य श्री रमादेव्या समेत वीरवेंकट सत्यनारायण स्वामी प्रीत्यर्थं शुक्लपक्ष विशेष पौर्णमास्यां विशेषतः श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामी व्रतपूजांग कर्मणि सर्वेषां भक्तमहाजनानाम् अस्मिन् महावल्लभगणपति दिव्यसन्निधौ आगतानाम् अनागतानां सर्वेषां भक्तमहाजनानां क्षेमस्थैर्य वीर्य विजय आयुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याणाम् अभिवृद्ध्यर्थमनेक भक्त गृहे अट्टलक्ष्मी नित्य निवास सिद्ध्यर्थं धर्मार्थ काममोक्ष चतुर्विध फलपुरुषार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थं जाग्रत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति अवस्थात्रय मनोवाक्काय समजनि तद्दोष पीठा परिहारार्थम् आध्यात्मिकादि दैविक आदिभौतिक दावत्रयादि समस्त दोष निवारणार्थं लोके नगरे स्थले विद्वन्महाजनानां सर्वेषां भक्तमहाजनानां लोकक्षेमार्थलोककल्याणार्थं महा पशु पक्षिजावर जंगमस्थानां क्षेमारोग्यदासदर्थने भक्तमहाजनानाम् उभयकर्तॄणां क्षेमारोग्यदासदर्थं श्री रमादेव्या समेत वीर वेंकट सत्यनारायण स्वामी प्रसाददर्थं सर्वेषां भक्तमहाजनानां सकलविध सन्मांगल्य प्राप्त्यर्थ अप्राप्त लक्ष्मी प्राप्त्यर्थं प्राप्त लक्ष्मी स्थिरकाल संरक्षणार्थं धनगणक वस्तुवाहनादि अभिवृद्ध्यर्थ आयुरारोग्य शुद्ध्यर्थं विशेषतः श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामी अनुग्रह सिद्ध्यर्थम आचार्य मुखेन श्री सत्यनारायण व्रतपूजा कर्म करिष्ये अपवुपस्पृश्य आवाहनादि सूत्रवती समेत विश्वक्षेण महावल्लभगणपते नमः समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि यथास्थानं प्रतिष्ठापयामि वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा विश्वक्षेण महागणपते नमः समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि यथास्थानं प्रतिष्ठापयामि शोभनार्थे क्षोभाय पुनरागमनाय च विश्वक्षेण महागणपते नमः प्रसादसिद्ध्यर्थं पूर्वोक्त संकल्प प्रकारेण श्री आदित्यादि नवग्रह देवता परिपूर्ण अनुग्रह प्रसादसिद्ध्यर्थं श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामी व्रतपूजांग कर्मणि आदित्यादि नवग्रह दोष निवारण सिद्धि पूर्वे अनेक भक्त महाजनानां जातक आदिव्यादि नवानां ग्रहाणां नवग्रह दोष निवारण सिद्ध्यर्थं नवग्रह आराधनं करिष्ये अस्मिन् नवग्रह मंडले मध्ये आदित्यग्रहं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि जपाकुसुम संगाढं काश्यपेयं महद्दितिं तमोरिं सर्वभावग्नं प्रणतोऽस्मि दिवाकरम् अश्वत्थजाय विद्महे पद्महस्ताय धीमहि तन्नः सूर्यः प्रचोदयात्। ओम रक्तवर्णं रक्तगन्धं रक्तपुष्पं रक्तगन्धानुलेपितं मेरोः प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं साङ्गाय सायुधाय सपरिवाराय श्री आदित्यग्रहं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि सर्वोपचारैः पूजयामि समर्पयामि। ओम सूर्यस्य आग्नेय दिग्भागे चंद्रासना नमः चंद्रमूर्ते नमः दधिशङ्खदुषारापं क्षीरोधार्णवसम्भवं नमामि सिद्धिनं सोमं सम्भोर्मकुटभूषणं निशाकराय विद्महे कलानाथाय धीमहि तन्नश्चन्द्र प्रचोदयात्। श्वेतवर्णं श्वेतवस्त्रं श्वेतगन्धं श्वेतपुष्पं श्वेतगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं शाङ्काय सायुधाय सशक्तये शपरिवाराय चन्द्रग्रहं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा चन्द्रस्य सूर्यस्य दक्षिणदिग्भागे अंगारहं ध्यायामि अंगारहमावाहयामि धरणीगर्भसम्भूतं विद्युत्कान्तिसन्निभं कुमारं शक्तिहस्तं च मङ्गलं प्रणमाम्यहम् अंगारकाय विद्महे भूमिपालाय धीमहि तन्नो गुजप्रचोदयात् रक्तवर्णं रक्तवस्त्रं रक्तगन्धं रक्तपुष्पं रक्तगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं शाङ्गाय सायुधाय सशक्तये सपरिवाराय अंगारहं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा सूर्यस्य ऐशान्यदिग्भागे बुधाय नमः बुधासना नमः बुधमूर्ते नमः बुधाय नमः प्रियङ्गुकलिका श्यामं रूपेण प्रतिमं बुधं सौम्यं सौम्यगुणोपेतं तं बुधं प्रणमाम्यहम् बुधग्रहाय विद्महे इन्दुपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नः सौम्य प्रचोदयात् ओं श्यामवर्णं श्यामवस्त्रं श्यामगन्धं श्यामपुष्पं श्यामगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं साङ्काय सायुधाय सशक्तये सपरिवाराय बुधं ध्यायामि बुधमावाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा सूर्यस्य उत्तरदिग्भागे बृहस्पत्यासना नमः बृहस्पतिमूर्ते नमः बृहस्पतये नमः देवानां च ऋषीणां च गुरुं काञ्चनसन्निभं बुद्धिभूतं त्रिलोकेशं तन्नमामि बृहस्पतिं सुराचार्याय विद्महे सुरश्रेष्ठाय धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयात् ओं कनकवर्णं कनकवस्त्रं कनकगन्धं कनकपुष्पं कनकगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं शाङ्काय सायुधाय सशक्तये सपरिवाराय गुरुं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा सूर्यस्य पूर्वदिग्भागे शुक्रासना नमः शुक्रमूर्ते नमः शुक्राय नमः हिमकुन्दमृणालाभं दैध्यानां परमं गुरुं सर्वशास्त्रप्रवक्तारं भार्गवं प्रणमाम्यहम् रजदापाय विद्महे भृगुसुधाय धीमहि तन्नः शुक्रप्रचोदयात् ओं स्वेदवर्णं स्वेदवस्त्रं स्वेदगन्धं स्वेदपुष्पं स्वेदगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं शाङ्काय सायुधाय सशक्तये सपरिवाराय सर्वालङ्कारशोभिताय शुक्रं ध्यायामि शुक्रमावाहयामि शुक्राय नमः अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा सूर्यस्य पश्चिमदिग्भागे शनैश्चरासनाय नमः शनैश्चरमूर्ते नमः शनैश्चराय नमः नीलाञ्जनसमाभाषं रविपुत्रं यमाग्रजं छायामार्ताण्डसम्भूतं तं नमामि शनैश्चरं काकध्वजाय विद्महे खड्गहस्ताय धीमहि तन्न मन्दप्रचोदयात् ओं कृष्णवर्णं कृष्णवस्त्रं कृष्णगन्धं कृष्णपुष्पं कृष्णगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं साङ्काय सायुधाय सशक्तये सपरिवाराय शनैश्चरं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा सूर्यस्य नैऋती दिग्भागे राघवे नमः अर्धगायं महावीर्यं चन्द्रादित्यविमर्दनं सिंहिका गर्भसम्भूतं तं राहुं प्रणमाम्यहम् ओं सूकदन्ताय विद्महे उग्ररूपाय धीमहि तन्नो राहु प्रचोदयात् धूम्रवर्णं धूम्रवस्त्रं धूम्रगन्धं धूम्रपुष्पं धूम्रगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं साङ्काय सायुधाय सशक्तये सपरिवाराय राहुं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा ओं सूर्यस्य वायोर्दिग्भागे केतवासना नमः केतुमूर्ते नमः केतवे नमः पलासपुष्पसङ्काशं तारकाग्रहमस्तकं रौद्रं रौद्रात्मकं घोरं तं केतुं प्रणमाम्यहम् चित्रवर्णाय विद्महे सर्परूपाय धीमहि तन्नः केतुः प्रचोदयात् चित्रवर्णं चित्रवस्त्रं चित्रगन्धं चित्रपुष्पं चित्रगन्धानुलेपितं दिव्यमेरु प्रदक्षिणे कुर्वाणं साङ्काय सायुधाय सशक्तये सपरिवाराय केतुं ध्यायामि केतुमावाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा महागणपतिं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा दुर्गादेवीं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा वास्तुपुरुषं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा अभयङ्करं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा क्षेत्रपालकं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि अर्घ्यं दत्त्वा कुन्दध्वारां दुरादृशा नित्यपुट्टाङ्गिरीषिणीं ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपक्वये श्रियम् ओं श्रीमावाहयामि लक्ष्मीनारायणम् आवाहयामि वाणी हिरण्यगर्भाभ्याम् आवाहयामि उमामहेश्वराभ्याम् आवाहयामि पूर्वे इंद्राय नमः अग्नये नमः दक्षिणे यमाय नमः निरुदाय नमः पश्चिमे वरुणाय नमः वायव्ये नमः उत्तरे कुबेराय नमः ईशान्यम् ईशानाय नमः ईशानस्य दक्षिणे ब्रह्मणे नमः नैऋति उत्तरे विष्णवे नमः अष्टदिक्पालकासना नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि पूजयामि पञ्चलोकबालकासनाय नमः आवाहयामि पूजयामि सकल आवाहनदेवताभ्यो नमः धूपमाग्रापयामि धूपै ओम धूरधिधोर्वधोर्वन्दं धोर्वधं जोस्मान् धूर्वधिदं धूर्वयं वयं धूर्वामः धूपमाग्रापयामि दीपं दर्शयामि निवेद्यं निवेदयामि भूर्भुवस्वः अस्त्राय पट कवचाय स्वाहा प्रत्यक्षदीपं दर्शयामि शुरभिमुद्रां प्रदर्श्य ओम आदित्याय च सोमाय मंगलाय बुधाय च गुरुशुक्रशनेभ्यश्च राहवे केतवे नमः। जय बोलो नवनायक स्वामी की जय, सत्यनारायण स्वामी की जय। आचार्याः कलशपूजां कृत्वा विष्णोरराडमसि विष्णोः पृष्ठमसि विष्णोस्त्यप्रेहस्तो विष्णो शूरसि विष्णोर्ध्रुवमसि वैष्णवमसि विष्णवे त्वा गन्धद्वारां दुरादर्शानित्यपुट्टाङ्गिरीषिणीम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपक्वये श्रियो आपो वा इदगं सर्वं विश्वाभूतान् न्यापप्राणा वा आपपशव आपो नमापो प्रथमापश्रम्राडापो विराडापश्वराडाप सन्दागिष्यापो ज्योतिगिष्यापो यजुगिष्यापः सत्यमाप सर्वा देवता आपो भूर्भुवस्सुवरा भवो देवस्य त्वा सवितप्रसवे अश्विनोर्बाहुभ्यां पूर्णोस्ताभ्याम् ॐ आं ह्रीं क्रों क्रों ह्रीं आं अं यं रं लं वं सं शं सं हं लं क्षं अह अंसस्सो हंसः आवाहितो भव स्थापितो भव सन्निधो भव सन्निरुद्धो भव अवगुण्डितो भव सुप्रीतो भव सुप्रसन्नो भव स्वामिन् प्रसीद प्रसीद स्वामिन् सर्वजगन्नाथ यावत् पूजावसानकं तावत् त्वं प्रीतिभावेन कुम्भेऽस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु। श्रीरमादेव्या समेत सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। प्राणप्रतिष्ठा मुहूर्तो शुभमुहूर्तोस्तु शुभमुहूर्तोस्तु। पूर्वोद्धारे ओम जयायै नमः, पूर्वे ओम विजयायै नमः, दक्षिणद्वारे ओम नन्दायै नमः, ओम सुनन्दायै नमः, पश्चिमद्वारे ओम बलायै नमः, ओम प्रभायै नमः, उत्तरद्वारे ओम कुमुदायै नमः, ओम कुमुदाक्षी नमः। ओम पुष्पमादाय नीलवर्णं पीतवस्त्रं ध्यायेत् श्रीवत्सभूषितं गोविन्दं गोकुलानन्दं ब्रह्माद्यै रविभूजितं श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। ध्यायामि आवाहये गुणातीतं सत्यनारायण प्रभं लोकनाथं त्रिलोकेशं कौस्तुभाभरणं हरिं श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। आवाहयामि क्षीराब्दो शेषशयने साजिने परमात्मने धर्मादिचरणं वेदैः धृतं रत्नासनं परं श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। आसनं समर्पयामि व्यक्ताव्यक्तस्वरूपाय ऋषिकपतये नमः। मया निवेदितो भक्त्या अर्घ्योऽयं प्रतिगृह्यताम् श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि। नारायण नमस्तेस्तु नरकार्णवतारक पाद्यं गृहाण देवेश मम सौख्यं विवर्तय श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। पाद्यं समर्पयामि। मन्दाकिन्यास्तु यद्वारि सर्वपापहरं शुभं ददिदं कल्पितं देव सम्यगा सम्यदां त्वया श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। आजमनीयं समर्पयामि। स्नानं पञ्चामृतैर्देव गृहाण पुरुषोत्तम अनाथनाथ सर्वज्ञ कीर्वाण प्रणतिप्रिय श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। पञ्चामृतस्नानं समर्पयामि। वेदसूक्तसमायुक्त यज्ञसामसमन्विते सर्ववर्णप्रदे देव वाससी प्रतिगृह्यतां श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। वस्त्रयुगलं समर्पयामि। अक्षतान् समर्पयामि। ब्रह्मविष्णुमहेश्वरस्य निर्मितं ब्रह्मसूत्रकं तेन यज्ञोपवीतेन प्रियदां कमलापतिः श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। यज्ञोपवीतं समर्पयामि, अक्षतान् समर्पयामि। श्रीगण्डं चन्दनं दिव्यं गन्धाढ्यं सुमनोहरं विलेपनं सुरश्रेष्ठं चन्दनं प्रतिगृह्यतां श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। गन्धां धारयामि, गन्धस्योपरि हरिद्रा कुङ्कुमं समर्पयामि। मल्लिकादिसुगन्धी च मालध्यादीनि वै प्रभो कृतानि पूजार्थं पुष्पाणि प्रतिगृह्यतां श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। पुष्पं समर्पयामि। अथ अंगपूजां करिष्ये। ओम सत्यनारायणाय नमः। पादौ पूजयामि। ओम शेषशायिने नमः। कुल्पौ पूजयामि। ओम कालस्वरूपिणे नमः। जंगे पूजयामि। ओम विश्वरूपाय नमः। जानुनी पूजयामि। ओम जगन्नाथाय नमः। गुह्यं पूजयामि। ओम कमलनाथाय नमः। नाभिं पूजयामि। ओम जगत्कुक्षये नमः। कुक्षिं पूजयामि। ओम लक्ष्मी विलसत्वक्षसे नमः। वक्षस्थलं पूजयामि। ओम शंकरादिहस्ताय नमः। हस्तान् पूजयामि। ओम चतुर्भागवे नमः। बाहून् पूजयामि। ओम श्रीकंठाय नमः। कंठं पूजयामि। ओम चंद्रमुखाय नमः। मुखं पूजयामि। ओम सत्यवाचे नमः। वक्त्रं पूजयामि। ओम श्रीच्छाय नमः। नासिकां पूजयामि। ओ रवीन्दुलोचनाय नमः। नेत्रे पूजयामि। ओम दिक्स्त्रोत्राय नमः। स्तोत्रं पूजयामि। ओम सर्वव्यापिने नमः। शिरः पूजयामि। श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। सर्वांगं पूजयामि. Devotee, you put the rice akshada, the yellow, the turmeric. Om Satyadevaya Namaha. Om Satyatmane Namaha. Om Satyabhutaya Namaha. Om Satyapurudaya Namaha. Om Satyanadaya Namaha. Om Satyasakshine Namaha. Om Satyayogaya Namaha. ओम सत्यज्ञानाय नमः। ओम सत्यज्ञानप्रियायै नमः। ओम सत्यनिधये नमः। ओम सत्यसंभवाय नमः। ओम सत्यप्रभुवे नमः। ओम सत्येश्वराय नमः। ओम सत्यकर्मणे नमः। ओम सत्यपवित्राय नमः। ओम सत्यमंगलाय नमः। ओम सत्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम सत्यप्रजापतये नमः। ओ सत्यविक्रमाय नमः। ओम सत्यसिद्धाय नमः। ओ सत्याच्युताय नमः। ओ सत्यव्रतवीराय नमः। ओ सत्यभूताय नमः। ओ सत्यधर्माय नमः। ओ सत्याग्रजाय नमः। ओ सत्यसन्दुष्टाय नमः। ओ सत्यपरागाय नमः। ओ सत्यपरायणाय नमः। ओ सत्यपूर्णाय नमः। ओ सत्य औषधाय नमः। ओ सत्य ऐश्वर्याय नमः। ओ सत्य शाश्वताय नमः। ओ सत्य प्रवर्तनाय नमः। ओ सत्य विभवे नमः। ओ सत्य ज्येष्ठाय नमः। ओ सत्य श्रेष्ठाय नमः। ओ सत्य विक्रमिने नमः। ओ सत्य धन्विने नमः। ओ सत्यमेधाय नमः। ओ सत्याधीशाय नमः। ओ सत्यक्रतवे नमः। ओ सत्यकालाय नमः। ओ सत्यवत्सलाय नमः। ओ सत्यवसवे नमः। ओ सत्यमेघाय नमः। ओ सत्यरुद्राय नमः। ओ सत्यब्रह्मणे नमः। ओ सत्यमृदाय नमः। ओ सत्यवेदांगाय नमः। ओ सत्यचतुरात्मने नमः। ओ सत्यभोक्त्रे नमः। ओ सत्यसुचये नमः। ओ सत्यार्चिताय नमः। ओ सत्येन्द्राय नमः। ओ सत्यसंगाय नमः। ओ सत्यशंकराय नमः ओ सत्यस्वर्गाय नमः ओ सत्यनियामकाय नमः ओ सत्यमेधाय नमः ओ सत्यवेद्याय नमः ओ सत्यपयूषाय नमः ओ सत्यमायाय नमः ओ सत्यमोहाय नमः ओ सत्यसुरानन्दाय नमः ओ सत्यसागराय नमः ओ सत्यतपसे नमः ओ सत्यसंवाय नमः ओ सत्यमृगाय नमः ओ सत्यलोकबालकाय नमः ओ सत्यस्थिताय नमः ओ सत्यदिक्पालकाय नमः ओ सत्यधनुर्धराय नमः ओ सत्याम्बुजाय नमः ओ सत्यवाक्याय नमः ओ सत्यगुरवे नमः ओ सत्यान्याय नमः ओ सत्यसाक्षिणे नमः ओ सत्यसम्प्रदाय नमः ओ सत्यसम्प्रदाय नमः ओ सत्यवन्नजे नमः ओ सत्यवायुवे नमः ओ सत्यशिखराय नमः ओ सत्यानन्दाय नमः ओ सत्यादिराजाय नमः ओ सत्यश्रीपादाय नमः ओ सत्यगुक्याय नमः ओ सत्योधराय नमः ओ सत्यहृदयाय नमः ओ सत्यकमलाय नमः ओ सत्यनालाय नमः ओ सत्यहस्ताय नमः ओ सत्यभागवे नमः ओ सत्यमुखाय नमः ओ सत्यजिह्वाय नमः ओ सत्यदंष्ट्राय नमः ओ सत्यनासिकाय नमः ओ सत्यस्तोत्राय नमः ओ सत्यचक्षुषे नमः ओ सत्यशिरसे नमः ओ सत्यमुकुटाय नमः ओ सत्याम्बराय नमः ओ सत्यपराणाय नमः ओ सत्यायुधाय नमः ओ सत्यश्रीवल्लभाय नमः ओ सत्यगुप्ताय नमः ओ सत्यपुष्कराय नमः ओ सत्यरूढाय नमः ओ सत्यभामावतारकाय नमः ओ सत्यग्रहरूपिणे नमः ओ सत्यप्रहनायुधाय नमः ओ सत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः नानाविध परिमलपत्रपुष्पार्चनं समर्पयामि सत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः धूपम् ओम धूरधिदूर्वधूर्वन्दं दूर्वधं जोस्मात् दूर्वदिदं धूर्वजं भजं दूर्वामः धूपमाग्रापयामि उद्दीप्यस्वजातवेदो भग्नं निरृतिं मम पशुगिश्च मह्यमावह जीवनं च दिशो दिश दीपं दर्शयामि मधुवादाहृदायते मधुक्षरं दिशन्तवः माध्वेर्नः सन्तोषधीः मधुनक्तमधोषधि मधुमत्पार्थिभगं रजः मधुद्योरस्तु नः पिता मधुमान्नो वनस्पतिर्मधुमागुम् अस्तु सूर्यः माध्वीर्गावो भवन्तु नः मधु 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 विशेषगुणान्नं निवेदयामि कुलपिष्टं निवेदयामि विशेषबलसमूकानि च महानिवेद्यं निवेदयामि आचमनं समर्पयामि सर्वस्याब्धे सर्वस्य जब्धे सर्वमेव धेनाप्नोति सर्वं जयते सत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः दिव्यमङ्गलज्योतिः योपां पुष्पं वेद पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति चन्द्रभावा अपां पुष्पं पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति यजेवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति राजाधिराजाय प्रसज्ञसाजिने नमो भजं वै श्रवणाय गुरुमहे समे कामान् कामकामाय मह्यं कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो ददातु कुबेराय वै श्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः ॐ तद्ब्रह्म ॐ तद्वायुः ॐ तदात्मा ॐ तत्सत्यम् ॐ तत्सर्वम् ॐ तत्पुरोर्नमः अन्तश्चरति भूतेषु गुगाजा विश्वमूर्तिषु त्वं यज्ञस्त्वं वषट्कारस्त्वं इन्द्रस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वं विष्णुत्वं ब्रह्मत्वं प्रजापतिः त्वं ददामो ज्योतिरसोमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्सुवरो ओम नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् इयं वेदोक्तमन्त्रपुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि यानि यानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे प्रकृष्टपापनाशाय प्रकृष्टफलसिद्धये प्रदक्षिणं करोमि त्वां प्रसीद पुरुषोत्तम अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष जनार्दन हरि सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः अनन्तकोटि प्रदक्षिण नमस्काराञ्जलिं समर्पयामि हरिः ओम् अग्निमीले पुरोहितं यज्ञस्य देवमृद्विजम् ओदारं रत्नधातमं हरिः ओम् इडेत्तोर्जेत्वा वाजवस्तो वाजवस्तदेवोव श्रेष्ठतमाय कर्मणे हरिः ओम् अग्नाजागिवीतये गृणानो अव्यदादये निगोदासत्य परिगिषि हरिः ओम् सन्नो देवीरभिट्टयापो भवन्तु पीतये सय्योरभिश्रवन्तु नः हरिः ओम् शन्नो मित्रः संवरुणः शन्नो भवत्तुर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि हृदं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवधु माम् अवधु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 आद्यं पुरुषमीशानं पुरुहूतं परमेकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्यक्ताव्यक्तकं सनातनो स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तः न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु devotee please do the japam ॐ सर्वस्याब्धे सर्वस्य जुब्धे सर्वमेव धेनाप्नोति सर्वं जयति जय बोलो श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामी की जय devotee please do the japam or with the अष्टाक्षरी मूल मंत्र ओम नमो नारायणाय 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 devotee please repeat प्रार्थना मंत्रम ओम नमस्ते
नमस्ते
सत्यदेवेश
सत्यदेवेश
नमस्ते
नमस्ते
करुणाकर
करुणाकर
ओम नमस्ते
नमस्ते
सत्यवागीश
सत्यवागीश
नमस्ते
नमस्ते
सत्यसुप्रभो
सत्यसुप्रभो
सत्यनारायणं देवं
सत्यनारायणं देवं
वन्देहं
वन्देहं
कामदं विभुं लीलया विदतं वन्दे
लीलया विनतं वन्दे
विश्वं येन तस्मै
तस्मै
नमो नमः
नमो नमः
ओम श्री
Om Shri
Satyanarayana
Satyanarayana Swamine
Namo Namaha.
Namo Namaha. Now it's time to hear Satyanarayana Katha. We will begin with chapter 1. Once upon a time, the great Shaunak Muni and 88,000 other rishis assembled in the forest called Naimisharanya. Maharishi Suta, who was well versed in narrating the Puranas, was also present at that time. Shaunak Muni asked Maharishi Suta, O Maharishi, please tell us about the way by which mankind can attain salvation. Maharishi Suta answered, even the great sage Narada asked Lord Mahavishnu the very same question. Listen very carefully as I am going to tell you what Lord Mahavishnu himself told to Narada Muni. During his travel to the various worlds, sage Narada came to visit the earth. There he saw people suffering in their lives due to their past karmas. Narada Muni was moved by witnessing such suffering, and thought of Lord Narayana, who is ever so kind and full of love for his devotees. So sage Narada travelled to Vaikunta, the abode of Lord Narayana. There he saw the beautiful sight of Lord Vishnu adorned with his conch, discus, mace, lotus in his forehands and with a garland around his neck. Narada spoke humbly, O Supreme Lord, the Savior of the destitute and the troubled, I surrender at thy feet. Lord Vishnu asked, Dear Narada, why you have come here? Tell me what is troubling you and what you want, and I will fulfill all your wishes. Narada responded by saying, O Bhagavan, people on the earth are suffering in many ways as a result of their own past sinful deeds. Please bestow thy grace and tell me how they can be of help, how to end their sufferings. Lord Narayana spoke to Narada as follows. Narada, because of your kindness and you wish to help mankind, you have asked me these questions, and because of my kinship with you, I will give you the answers. Mankind can be rid of all its sufferings by observing the Satyanarayana Vrata. This Vrata, when performed according to the religious rites, will bring happiness, peace of mind, and prosperity in this life and moksha beyond. On hearing these words, Narada was filled with joy and said, O Lord, in your infinite grace, please tell us the details involved in observing this vrata and the fruits and positive effects of such observance. Lord Narayana responded by saying, On a full moon day, one must gather one's friends and relatives, perform the puja in the evening with devotion, and offer fruits, ghee, milk, curd, butter, wheat flour, sugar, honey to the Lord. After the puja is completed, the story of Lord Satyanarayana Katha must be read to one and all present for the puja. After reading the story, prasada must be distributed to all. The assembled Brahmins must also be fed with gifts must be given to them. If the puja is thus performed, it will bring fulfillment of one's wishes. Particularly in this Kali Yuga, this will bring contentment to the devotees observing this puja. With this, we end the first chapter of Satyanarayana Katha in the Revakanta of Skanda Purana. Bolo Sri Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Narayanaya Vitmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Bolo Sri Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Let us now hear the second chapter. Maharishi Suta continued his narration. O learned rishis, let me tell you stories about devotees who performed this puja in the past and achieved greatness. Once there lived a poor Brahmin in the city of Kashi. Plagued by his hunger, he used to wander around every day. Lord Vishnu, who is all kindness, appeared before the poor Brahmin in the form of an old man and asked, Why are you wandering around aimlessly? The poor Brahmin replied by saying, Sir, I am very poor Brahmin, unable to bear the pangs of hunger. I wander around begging for alms. If you know a way to help me out of my misery, pray, tell me please. Whereupon Lord Vishnu, who was in the guise of the old man, said, O Brahmin, the Lord Satyanarayana bestows his grace on his devotees and removes their sorrows. So you should also observe this vrata and reap its benefits. Lord Vishnu then explained the details of the puja to the poor Brahmin and disappeared. The poor Brahmin immediately resolved to perform the Satyanarayana puja. After a sleepless night, he got up early in the morning and went to beg for alms. His mind was fixed only on the puja. That day he got a lot of money with which he bought the necessary materials prescribed to him early by Lord himself and performed the puja with his friends and relatives. With the grace of Lord Satyanarayana, he was able to come out of his poverty and lead a contented life. He continued to perform this puja every Purnima day and finally attained moksha. The assembled rishis who were listening to Maharishi then asked, "O great one, please tell us in detail who else performed these pujas." Maharishi Suta then continued his narration. One day, when the poor Brahmin from Kashi was performing this Satyanarayana Puja, a woodcutter entered his house and asked for water. Seeing the puja being performed, the woodcutter inquired about the puja and its purpose. The Brahmin from Kashi, who is now prosperous due to the Lord Satyanarayana's grace, spoke as follows. This is called the Satyanarayana Puja. Anyone who performs this puja will get riches. I myself have been bestowed with wealth. The woodcutter was delighted to hear about this puja. He learned the proper way to perform the puja, ate the prasad, and went on his way. With Lord Satyanarayana in his thought, he resolved in his mind that he will perform this Satyanarayana Puja with whatever money he made that day. He went to the area in the city where rich people lived and sold the wood for a good profit. With that money, he bought ghee, sugar, honey, butter, curd, milk, flour, and fruits, and all those materials prescribed to him, and performed the puja properly and with devotion, along with his friends and relatives. By Lord Satyanarayana's grace, he too acquired enormous wealth and lived comfortably and attained moksha. With this, we end the second chapter of Satyanarayana Katha in the Reva Kanta of Skanda Purana. Bolo Sri Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् भोलो श्री सत्यनारायण भगवान की जय. Now it's time to hear the third chapter. Maharishi Suta continued, "O best of ascetic, I will tell you yet another story. Long time ago, there lived a wise king called Alkamuka. He had mastered all his senses and always spoke the truth. He went to the temple every day and gave gift to the learned Brahmins. His lotus-faced wife was a pure and pious woman. One day, the royal couple was performing the Satyanarayana Puja on the banks of river Bhadrashila. At that time, a merchant called Sadhu sailed by on a boat full of merchandise. Seeing the king performing the puja, Sadhu stopped the boat, got off, and addressed the king humbly. "O king, would you kindly tell me what you are doing with such devotion and concentration?" The king responded by saying, "O Sadhu, I have no children. In order that I may be blessed with children, I am worshipping the Almighty, the Lord Satyanarayana." On hearing this, Sadhu said to the king softly and with respect, "O king, kindly let me know how to perform this puja. I would also like to observe this vrata, as I too have no children." The king proceeded to give Sadhu the merchant all the details about performing the puja. Sadhu returned home happily and told his wife about his encounter with the king and informed her that he has resolved to perform the Satyanarayana Puja after a child is born. By the divine grace, Sadhu's wife Leelavati conceived a child. In due course, a beautiful daughter was born to Sadhu and his wife. They named their daughter as Kalavati. Sadhu did not perform the puja after the daughter's birth, and Leelavati dutifully reminded him about his promise to perform the Satyanarayana Puja. Sadhu said he will perform the puja once his daughter Kalavati got married. Sadhu then put the whole matter out of his mind and carried on with his work and his daily life. In the meantime, Kalavati grew up and blossomed into a lovely girl. Sadhu sent out word to find a suitable groom for his daughter. One of his messengers found a young boy and handsome boy from a Vaishya family from Kanchananagar. Sadhu found the boy to be a suitable match for his daughter Kalavati. He celebrated his daughter's wedding with great pomp and show. But unfortunately, Sadhu completely forgot about his promise to perform the Satyanarayana Puja, for which he was soon to learn a big lesson about the importance of keeping serious promises, especially ones that are related to the kind and all-knowing Lord Satyanarayana. One day, Sadhu set out a business trip with his son-in-law. He stopped to trade in the city of Ratnapura. which was ruled by King Chandraketu, then events started to unfold as per the will of Lord Satyanarayana. Some thieves robbed King Chandraketu's treasury and were running away. The king's soldiers gave them hot pursuit. The frightened thief threw all the things they had stolen from the palace near Sadhu and his son-in-law on their boat. The king's soldiers found the stolen goods in Sadhu's and son-in-law's boat and hence arrested them, brought them before the king. Lord Satyanarayana's Maya, or the illusion, was in full force by now. Without proper questioning, the king ordered that the Sadhu and his son-in-law be chained and thrown into prison. Again, because of the Maya of the Lord, none paid any attention what Sadhu had to say for in his own defense. King Chandraketu's soldiers had also confiscated all the merchandise of Sadhu and his son-in-law. Meanwhile, some robbers broke into Sadhu's house at his hometown and stole all the valuables. Sadhu's family therefore lost all their possessions. One day, due to extreme hunger, Kalavati left the house and wandered around looking for food. She arrived at a house where Satyanarayana Pooja was being performed. When the puja was finished, she gladly accepted the prasada that was handed to her. Leelavati asked her daughter where she had been, and Kalavati narrated her experience about Satyanarayana Pooja in some Brahmin's house. Leelavati remembered her husband's promise about performing the puja, so she resolved to observe the vrata by herself. She assembled her relatives and friends, performed the puja at her home, and prayed that he forgive all the sins committed by her family. The magnanimous Lord was pleased with Leelavati's prayer. So Lord appeared in the King Chandraketu's dream and ordered him to release Sadhu and his son-in-law as they were really innocent. Lord Satyanarayana also warned the king that he must follow the orders or else he will also face terrible consequences and risk of losing his kingdom and his family. The very next morning, King Chandraketu informed his counselors about his dream and ordered that the two merchants be freed. Sadhu and his son-in-law stood before the king in fright, but the king asked for their forgiveness for his mistake and gave them large gift and also returned their merchandise which his soldiers has confiscated from them earlier. The king then bade farewell to Sadhu and his son-in-law. With this, we end the third chapter of Satyanarayana Katha in the Reva Kanta of Skanda Purana. Bolo Šri Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Narayanaya Vitmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Bolo Šri Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Now it's time to hear the fourth chapter. Sadhu and his son-in-law loaded their boat with the riches given to them by the king and sailed homeward. Sadhu's earnest with respect to devotion to the Lord in the past was questionable, and he was therefore still subject to testing by the Lord if he desired so. Lord Satyanarayana appeared before Sadhu in the form of an ascetic and asked him what he was carrying in his boat. Without realizing the ascetic was indeed Lord Satyanarayana himself, Sadhu mockingly said, "You ascetic, were you thinking of stealing my things from my boat? We do not have any valuables in the boat. Anyway, all we have are some leaves and creepers." The ascetic told Sadhu, "So be it," and departed in great haste and stood by the shore. When Sadhu went back to the boat, he discovered to his horror that the boat was filled with really leaves and creepers instead of all the valuables given to him by the king, as he had falsely told the ascetic. Sadhu fainted upon seeing this sight, but he was revived by his son-in-law, who thoughtfully said, "This must be the curse of the ascetic. He must be a mystic. Let us go and ask for forgiveness." The two merchants went to the seashore where the ascetic was meditating. They fell at his feet and repeatedly begged for his forgiveness. Pleased by Sadhu's action, the kind and magnanimous Lord Satyanarayana said, "Sadhu, do not weep. You suffered because you broke your promise again and again." On hearing this, Sadhu again prayed to Lord Satyanarayana, saying, "O Lord, even Brahma and other devas cannot comprehend your form completely. How can I, with my limited knowledge, comprehend your various forms? I pray to you according to my limited knowledge. Please show me your true form and bless me. Upon hearing this prayer, Lord was pleased and granted his wishes and restored Sadhu's merchandise on the boat and disappeared. The two merchants then joyfully sailed homeward. On reaching their hometown, they sent a messenger to their respective wives so as to inform them about their safe arrival. At that point of time, Leelavati and Kalavati were in the middle of performing Satyanarayana Pooja. Leelavati finished the puja properly and asked Kalavati to do so well. Leelavati then hurried to the shore to meet her husband. In her eagerness, Kalavati also rushed through the puja and ran to meet her husband without even taking the prasad. This action of Kalavati was clearly an indicator of her lack of sincerity in her puja, which to her was a lower priority when compared to meeting her husband. Kalavati learned her lesson quickly. Without any reason, due to the Lord's Maya, Kalavati saw that the boat had capsized and her husband had drowned. Kalavati started weeping with great sorrow at the turn of events. Sadhu was at a loss to know what to do, but still wanted to help his daughter Kalavati. He announced that he will be performing the Satyanarayana Pooja and prayed to Lord Satyanarayana again and again. At this juncture, Lord Satyanarayana, who is the savior of sinners, was very pleased, and his voice was heard to say, "O Sadhu, your daughter did not took the prasad and thus did not finish the puja properly in her haste to see her husband. Let her go home, take the prasad and return with full faith in the Lord." Kalavati, who was remorseful by this time, rushed home, took the prasad and with great devotion. When she returned to the seashore, she found her husband in his boat. Then the Sadhu returned home happily with his wife, daughter, and son-in-law. Since then, Sadhu never failed to perform the Satyanarayana Puja every full moon day. With the Lord's grace, he also enjoyed all the comforts in this world and finally attained moksha. With this, we end the fourth chapter of Satyanarayana Katha in the Revakanta of Skanda Purana. Bolo Sri Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्. बोलो श्री सत्यनारायण भगवान की जय. Now it's time to hear chapter 5 and the last chapter. Maharishi Suta continued, once there lived a king called Tungadvaja, who underwent a lot of misery after refusing the prasad from Satyanarayana Puja. One day after hunting, he was sitting under a shady tree. Some cowards were performing Satyanarayana Puja nearby. The king, in his vanity, refused the prasada they offered. When he reached the palace, he found that his kingdom, his 100 sons, his wealth, and everything got destroyed. Then it occurred to him that maybe Lord Satyanarayana was probably displeased with him. He went back to the coward, prostrated himself before the Lord Satyanarayana's altar and performed the puja with great devotion. Lord Satyanarayana showed his blessings and the king regained everything he lost earlier. He lived happily and reached Vaikunta after his demise. Maharishi Suta said, O holy men, I have narrated to you the Satyanarayana Katha, which was originally told by Lord Mahavishnu to sage Narada. By observing this vrata, mankind can attain liberation. In this Kali Yuga, observance of the vrata can lead to gratification of one's wishes. Maharishi Suta concluded his narration by telling the assembled rishis what kind of blessings given by the Lord to the people in these above stories. The poor Brahmin of Kashi was reborn as Sudhama, the friend of Lord Krishna, who was blessed by Lord Krishna with prosperity and moksha. The woodcutter was reborn as Guha, who devotedly served Lord Rama and attained moksha. King Alkamuka was reborn as Dasaratha, the father of Lord himself. Sadhu was reborn as King Mayuradhvaja, who won the test Lord Krishna administered to him by offering his body to be cut into two halves and offered for charity. King Tungadhvaja was reborn as Manu, the writer of laws, who gave to mankind the code of conduct for righteousness. With this, we end the fifth chapter and narration of Maharishi Suta, after which Shaunak and other rishis returned to their respective places. Bolo Sri Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Narayanaya Vitmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्। बोलो श्री सत्यनारायण भगवान की जय. இன்னொரு வாட்டி இந்த ஸ்லோகம் சொல்லுங்க.
Devotee, please repeat the Prarthana Mandaram. Om
Om
Namaste Satyadeveja Namaste Karunagara Namaste Satyavagisha Namaste Satyasuprabho Satyanarayanam Devam Vandeham Kamadam Vibhum Leelaya Vidadam Vishwam Yena Tasmai Namo Namaha. Om Shri Satyanarayana Swamine Namaha. Om Idam Vitnurvijakrame Tredani Dade Pado Samudamasya Bhagum Sure Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Tanno Vitno Prachodayad. Edavando Vai Devanagum Sabha Tajevasmidhavan Prayachande Tajenam Punassu Vande Rajyaja Devasu Raja Bhavati. Namadevi Ambika Sameda Veera Venkata Satyanarayana Swamine Namaha. Panchamuga Deepam Darishayami Raksham Dharayami. Jai Bolo Shri Satyanarayana Swami ki Jai.